No, that was emotional because I always felt like Natasha dying was really, really sad. Because Tony Stark died, it just overtook everything.
I guess a lot of men who hate women might watch that film and just hate the film. Oh my
Yeah.
god, this film about women and women are all strong and women are all fighting. Oh my god. And most importantly, for Phase 4 to work, we need to obviously understand Yelena,
Yeah.
where Yelena's coming from. Real issues. When you
Yeah.
read the comics, a lot of these heroes go through similar things that we go through.
Sir, just calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing there
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
No, I'm not giving him shit. We're just talking.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. It's your boy, Chosen Wisdom.
And it's your girl, Divergent Curl.
Yes, sir, and we are back again with another review, breakdown, and everything in between. Black Widow, baby. Like a black widow, baby. Anyway,
It's very exciting.
this is it, man. You know what? I'm looking forward to this film. I am. Before we start, guys, smash the like, bing, turn on the notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please
Hit that subscribe.
sauce it. Yeah, we're here. Black Widow. What do we know about Black Widow? We know that this is set after Civil War. Well, we know that Black Widow dies in the end. She dies in Endgame.
Is it Endgame or the one before?
Yes, it's Endgame. She dies in Endgame when she's trying to retrieve the stones. So
Yeah.
we know how she dies, and this film is supposed to be passing the torch.
Yeah, passing the mantle.
Yeah, onto the next Black Widow. So we know what's going to happen. Well, at least we know what the end goal is. This film is going to be interesting because we've heard about Black Widow. We kind of know her backstory, but I guess this is going to go deeper and we're going to find out a little bit more about her past.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because of I'm looking forward to the kind of introduction of the new character, of the Yelena character. Graphic novel I was holding up before. This is actually one of the novels where the two Black Widows go face to face, head to head. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out in this kind of on-screen portrayal, because it's not going to be exactly the same storyline as this, so it's not even related to this storyline. So
The chemistry between them
yeah,
will be interesting to see. And if Florence Pugh, who's going to be the next Black Widow, if she's going to be, going into Phase 4, and if there's going to be a new Avengers and whatnot. So it will be good to see her on screen and see how she does. I'm not the greatest Scarlett Johansson fan as an actor. I don't think she's an amazing actor, but, for the role she plays as Black Widow, I think she does a good job, a good enough job. Black Widow, the character herself, I'm not the greatest fan of the character. I mean, I think the character is fine. I like the character, but it's not one of my most favorite characters or something in the MCU. I think she's very resourceful.
Yeah.
I think she does well to last as long as she's lasted fighting. Sometimes she's fighting gods a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And she's a human being. So I rate her for that and give her courage for that. Like I said, I think she's very resourceful and she holds her own for a woman as well with, mostly men. She holds her own, so.
I'd say that's a fair assessment. I think for me, it's kind of, as you were talking, it was flooding back to me when I was first reading the graphic novels when I was younger. I really liked Black Widow character because the first time I was ever introduced to her was through the graphic novel and reading about this sort of assassin who's trying to come out of that world and learning more about how she and the other females are made into assassins.
Yeah.
And existing in the man's world. And I have to admit, I struggled with the graphic novels with the amount of sex and the amount of time she has to use her body, and the females have to use their bodies to get or like to survive or to move forward. That for me, I was like, ugh. And I think through Scarlett's portrayal, I agree with you. She's not the most like.
She's overused.
She's a good actress.
She's in
a decent
Lucy.
actress.
She's in so many films. She's just, I think, overused.
But I did appreciate what she brought to this character, and especially in some of her more vulnerable scenes.
She can kick ass.
Well,
that's one thing I'm looking forward to as well. We're just used to seeing men a lot of times, so I think this is going to be a heavy. Well, it should be a heavy female orientated film. So we're going to see a lot of women slap some men up. So get ready. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I mean, that is a side product of this kind of movie, I guess. But for me, I'm more interested in the emotional side of it, because I do think, because her character is so strong, when you get those moments of vulnerability where she breaks through,
But
I like that. It's contrasting to a lot of female portrayal of characters on screen. You normally see a more softer, nurturing side to a female up front, and then you might see some sort of like kickback later on. But
not with like female superheroes. Like female superheroes are badasses usually. But yeah, you're right. I agree. This is gonna be good. In terms of the film, I know David Harbour's in it, and he plays the Red Guardian. So looking forward to see what he's gonna do. So yeah, let's just do it.
I like with David Harbour. I really like him as an actor. I really liked him in obviously Stranger Things, and I really liked him in Hellboy as well. So yeah, he might be becoming my Nick Cage replacement. Nick Cage is one of those actors that he's just all the
Rachel
90s.
Weisz or Rachel Weisz. How do you pronounce it?
Rachel Weisz. I think.
Weisz.
She's married to what's his face, James Bond, but not James
Daniel
Bond.
Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig.
She's a great actress.
She is
Great
really
actress.
good.
So
And she could do multiple accents as well, really well, I think.
All
Or
right.
Ray Winston. Ray's all right.
Ray's in this.
Ray's
all right.
all right.
Ray. All right, guys. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do this. So is that gonna be the crossover then?
Oi.
In the Hawkeye, is it a Hawkeye series or movie?
It's a series. Where
So
it's interesting. It is a series.
Where
Is
he's
it a
handing
series?
over, yeah.
Yeah, where he handles it over.
Well, that was emotional, because I always felt like Natasha dying was really, really sad, and it just, because Tony Stark died, it just overtook everything. And even I think Wanda says it in WandaVision, doesn't she? Like Vision and
Yeah.
Natasha
So
not thought about.
overall, how do you think of what did you make of the movie overall?
Yeah, it was good. I know initially I thought, oh, this is just some trope I've seen before, the family that's not really a family, and the reunion that's not really a reunion, and but actually it worked well. Actually, it did. When they pulled it all together, I think it started to come together for me sort of around the middle of the second act, the beginning of the third act.
Yeah. It's the way it started. I was a bit confused at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, who's this girl, boy? What's going on? It was just crazy. But then I started to understand what was happening. I was like, okay, I get the dynamic. I see what's gonna go on. They're gonna split up, as we know, and the little sister is gonna go and be trained off. And while Natasha, goes and fights with the Avengers, so we kind of knew that was gonna happen. But it was still good to see it unfold, because Natasha hasn't had a film of her own, right? But she's been in all the other films, so we know her and we know about her because from other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Not from her own perspective. So it's very good to see where she's coming from, why she is the way she is, and most importantly, for Phase 4 to work, because Phase 4 is very female orientated as well.
Yeah.
I think the new Iron Man, I believe, is going to be female as well. So for Phase 4 to work, we need to obviously understand Yelena, where Yelena's coming from. And even that cutscene right at the end, where Yelena's at the graveyard paying her respects, it's good for us to see that, because it just shows that connection. So when we see her now, it's not going to be out of the ordinary,
Yeah.
because there is that timeless or that seamless transition now from Natasha to Yelena. And of course, Natasha's dead anyway, so we've got no choice but go with Yelena. But it will be interesting to see what they do, because if she's supposed to be the next Black Widow, obviously she's not going to be fighting Clint. Or maybe she's going to go after Clint and then have a conversation and say, oh, we should be on the same team. Let's all work together, or something like that. But yeah, it was a good movie. I didn't think it was amazing. I wouldn't give it like a 9 out of 10 or anything. It was complex enough. It could have gone deeper into some of the subjects, into some of the topics, depending on what kind of film they wanted to make. If they wanted to make a film that had less action, and but I think they tried to do a lot. They tried to make sure you understand the depth of the characters and what really went on, while providing us with enough action, trying to add a little bit of humor as well.
Yeah.
So I think it tried to cover a lot of bases, like Marvel films always do.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes that's a problem with Marvel films, that they try to be funny and smart and actiony and all these things. And sometimes you don't need to combine all these things. And sometimes some of the characters say a joke at the wrong time, where I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
That joke, in reality,
Yeah, you
come
wouldn't
on.
be saying that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be saying that. I think on IMDb it's getting right now 7. 7.5. I might give it more than a 7. I might give it 7.5.
Yeah.
7.5 out of 10. I'm not quite sure about Bad Guy. I'm not sure about Ray.
Yeah, I did.
I like him as an actor, but I'm not quite sure if he was the best choice for that part. I also want to find out from you guys who are watching this, if any of you had an issue with the fact that there weren't any Russians. From my perspective, I don't know if were there any, but from the main cast, they were all American, weren't they? Apart from Rachel Weisz.
And Ray, yeah. So there's just.
I'm not quite sure where Yelena's from.
I don't know about Florence Pugh. She
Florence
could be British too. For all I
Florence,
know.
but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, how do you feel about that? A movie about Russians. There weren't really many Russians.
I guess. Well, they were undercover in America, so I guess that it helps the fact that
Yeah.
I get fluidity around that. But I did find Ray's character was not he was not cast right for me in my opinion. I like Ray Winston as an actor. I think he's brilliant. I just think for this role his accent was all over the place. Which maybe he's supposed to be like well travelled or whatever and all this stuff, but
I mean, apart from the accent, I couldn't really hear what he was saying a lot of the times. You know, Ray with that.
yeah. But for me, you know who for me was the standout for me was Florence Pugh. I thought, wow, I was not expecting. She really shone for me.
Yeah, she did. And you know when I said, like, as much as I love Scarlett Johansson, the portrayal of Black Widow, I don't think she's an amazing. Like, she's a good actress, but she's not an amazing actress. And I think like Florence Pugh just shown us that if she had been casted, I know she's younger, but if she had been casted as Black Widow, she could have done a good job as well. You know, so what Scarlett Johansson's doing, as much as I do like her, it's not amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what she can do and what else she could do and how her character can grow and how she can grow, you know, into the MCU, into the next phase. So yeah.
Yeah, although I have to say I am slightly annoyed or perturbed, is probably a better word, about the end credit scene with Val and now pitting her against Clint. I just feel like, is there not more storylines that could be done? Like, that's not just always like fight one another, come together. Because we know at the end of it all, there's going to be a coming together or something. So we know that's going to happen. So why take us through a whole... Maybe people want to see it. Maybe that's the point. Maybe people want to see that journey.
I mean, it does... I hear what you're saying.
I just want to get to the bit after it.
I know.
That's the good stuff.
Where they all come together.
Yeah.
But... And because we saw in the lead up to the first Avengers and in the first Avengers, all they did was fight. And in fact, all the Avengers do is fight each other. Mostly. Like, you know...
Yeah.
Apart from when they have to come together and then... you know, beat Thanos, but there's always the internal fighting, and I think the fight scenes were decent. You know, I think the fight scenes were good between Yelena and Natasha. I thought that fight scene was really good. Yeah, I think action was spot on. I can't fault the action in this film. And
I would say what for me is interesting as a standout point as a female, pretty much all of the action, apart from David Harbour and Ray, it's all centered around female action and female fighting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they even used the ambiguity of the robot to just be like, bam, also she's a woman
What
at the
did
end
you
of the
feel
day.
about that switcheroo, that little reveal? Because as soon as they started talking about the daughter, because we didn't really hear about the daughter from the beginning, but we did. I think Natasha in one of the films did mention that she did have to do something.
Yeah, we knew she had to do something really bad
to get out or something, and obviously now we know what exactly what it is. But the more they start talking about the daughter, straight away I thought to myself, and I didn't vocalize it at the time, but I thought to myself, I bet that... I tell you why I didn't verbalize it. When I realized the robot thing or the bad guy was a machine, Then I thought, oh, okay. But in the back of my mind, I was still thinking, do you know what? I bet the daughter's in that suit. I kept thinking, and the more I think about it, it was an obvious reveal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because we assumed it was a machine, I think that's what, made it a bit slow to realise for some people, but not for me.
Yeah, I think I mentioned during the reaction, I was like, trying to give the robot a pronoun. I was like, is it he or she? And maybe it's a robot and is non outside of genders. And now we know it's actually his daughter inside. Kind of makes sense. But it was good misdirection because we were really focused on, I guess, the dynamic with that character. And I guess one thing for me that when it was revealed that Natasha, that's what she did, because from her perspective, she killed that girl until she found out she hadn't. That was like, what, 20 years later or something, or a long time later. Those are the kind of things that Natasha was doing. And that's why I said, found it difficult sometimes to read these, because when you really see the, like, spy shit and assassin shit that people are doing, and you know that they're being controlled and they didn't get a choice in it.
And all they're doing is following orders. That's all the armed forces and soldiers and all these people do. Just follow orders.
But what they do...
All you have is just an evil person telling you to kill sometimes good people, and you just don't... It doesn't matter. Like, it's just...
Well, I think the thing with this is, in this show, is that because what Natasha did was heinous. She murdered a child to try and kill somebody who did do something heinous to her. So what they had to do was the villain, the other big bad, has to do some things that are even more heinous than what our hero / anti-hero has done.
To make what she did look less.
Because otherwise, if you're the daughter inside that suit, your main enemy after your father for doing what he did would be Natasha, because you'd blame her.
Which it was. Hence why she kept going at her, and she wanted to kill her.
But they all had a combined larger enemy, so I guess that's the point, right?
Which was him.
You can come together and fight a larger enemy.
Which was the man. All the women. Eventually, all the women came together and said, fuck you, man. Sorry. All the women came together and said, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
We've had enough. So yeah, it was good. I guess a lot of like men who hate women might watch that film and just hate the film.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this film about women, and women are all strong and women are all fighting. Oh my God.
And maybe not even...
I hate this shit. Oh my God.
Maybe not even men that hate women. Maybe some men don't even realise they might find... Just like we found people picked apart certain TV shows we've seen so far because of underneath stuff. Everybody internalizes a bit of misogyny. Everybody has a little thing to say about what women can and can't do.
This is a man's world. It's true. We all look at this world, live this world, largely through the eyes of the man.
Just so happen, yeah, in general.
Us. No, Jake, I'm playing.
I think maybe the part
we run the world, man. I'm joking. I'm playing.
I mean, it's kind of true.
It's true, though.
I mean,
jokes aside, it's true.
But one thing for me that makes this film uncomfortable, and like I said, again, I take it back to the graphic novels, and I know I keep holding them up. Human trafficking, and particularly human trafficking of females and young girls, is a real thing. So that's why it really sits uncomfortably, and I guess that's part of the point. And that Marvel tries to show about things that really go on.
There's loads of people who try to act like Marvel don't address real issues. When you read the comics, a lot of these heroes, they go through similar things that we go through.
Sir, just calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing there
Just
talking.
give him your ID.
No, I'm not giving him shit. We're just talking.
Hey, look, is this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
The issues that are addressed in the comics and the issues that are addressed by these characters are some of the deep-rooted issues that we are trying to address now.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, it's not political, it's not this, and it's not, it is, man. These comics are, Marvel is. We're talking about flipping female oppression and FGM and all these things when you think about it. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about female genital mutilation. Yeah. That's what we're talking about, all these things that happened. So it's deep. So it depends on how deep you want to talk about it, Like I said, it did enough. It did enough to shine a light on that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Maybe people could have wanted more. I hear that. I don't know what the negative reviews of this film are, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and that's like my summary. I enjoyed it. It was a good film. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, for me too. Another reason why I wasn't like on the hype to watch it immediately as soon as it came out, because I was like, well, I know Natasha dies. Kind of know a bit about Yelena Belova from the comic books, graphic novels. But this was really good to see it brought to life, and a very good handing over. It just happened naturally. Like, there was no actual scene where she's like, I'm retiring and you're going to take over. There was just like a quick goodbye, and then I don't know, maybe they never saw each other again. So yeah, I thought it was really beautifully done, and the second post-credit scene was good.
Some of
visiting the grave.
Some of the sort of action scenes in it were a bit cliche, I guess.
Yeah.
Or some of the scenes were a bit cliche. That might be some people's sort of negative points about the film. Some of the scenes felt weird, but at the same time, they felt natural. Like there were awkward silences and awkward pauses in some of the scenes, but that's real.
Yeah, that's actually how life is.
That's how life is at the same time, you know. So
it's not perfectly timed and cut and edited.
Yeah, and the fact that the family was so weird, but I think that was the whole point. You know, it is dysfunctional. It's a weird family because it's not really a family, you know. So I'm not gonna lie, the Red Dragon, no, I'm joking. The Red Guardian. I like the character, right? But in the real world, I wouldn't like that person. That person would annoy the hell out of me. He's a terrible human being, terrible father. But the character, you know, was fun to experience. It was fun to experience that character, given the context of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. That's all I've got to say, guys. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's bring on more. Let's bring on Phase 4.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Comment below, man. Let us know what you thought.
Really
if we missed
curious,
something, let us know. If you want to point something out, let us know. Keep the conversation flowing. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. Smash the like, turn on your notifications, and don't forget to...